A greatest common factor is the largest factor that a group of numbers has in common. One way to find out what this is would be to list all of the factors of each number and see which one is the largest. 8 has factors of 1, 2, 4, and 8. 16 has factors of 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. And 20 has factors of 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20. Remember, when you're finding your GCF, it has to be a factor that each of these numbers has in common. So even though 20 is the highest number, it's not in common with every other number. In this case, the greatest common factor is 4, because it's the largest factor that all three numbers have. In this example, they want you to state the greatest common factor, and in some cases it's easy, whereas in others it can be more difficult. You may have found that in 15, 25, and 35, your greatest common factor is 5. Or in 18 and 20, your greatest common factor is 2. But once you get to harder numbers like 36 and 54, a greatest common factor is not necessarily so easy to find. Prime factorization can help us do that. I'll show you an example with 36 and 54. With 36, I'm just going to use a tree diagram to come up with my prime factorization. As I break down 36, I find out that its prime factorization is 3, 3, 2, and 2, or 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. Let's do the same for 54. Again, remember when you're using a tree diagram to use any factor that's obvious to you, because your final prime factorization will be the same as mine. So the prime factorization of 54 is 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. Now to determine the greatest common factor, what you can do is see which prime factors they have in common. For example, each has at least one 2 in their prime factorization. They each have at least one 3. In fact, they each have 2 3s. The remaining 2 in number 36 is not common, and the remaining 3 in 54 is not common. What I've determined is that each has a prime factorization, which includes 2 times 3 times 3. When you multiply those numbers, 2 times 3 times 3, you get 18. That is your greatest common factor for 36 and 54.